Whether you love it or hate it, there's no denying that Call of Duty is a big deal. The series has been shattering sales figures with each new release. It's no small wonder that every publisher wants a piece of that pie. They analyze what Activision did and copy it to the letter, from the short linear campaign's focus on scripted events and epic set pieces to the multiplayer's progression, unlock system, and skill perks. While imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, I don't think flattering Activision was their goal. I think there's only one way to compete with Call of Duty, and the answer, interestingly enough, lies with Electronic Arts. Activision is no stranger to epic franchises and annual sequels. Back in 1999, they released Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for the PlayStation, eventually getting the series onto the Nintendo 64 and the Sega Dreamcast. It was praised for its great gameplay, intuitive controls, and originality. The moment the series became successful, knockoffs started appearing in droves. Cash-ins, licensed games, and subgenres flooded the market. Most games aped the Pro Skater controls and aesthetic, but none were able to achieve the success of Activision's game because, when faced with the option of the copycat or the real deal, most people would go for the real thing, which was constantly evolving. Each new game expanded on the formula by adding features such as Create a Park and Create a Skater, and adding new tricks to help you extend your combo, like reverts. Players' combos started reaching the millions in points, and the original objective of representing the reality and excitement of professional skateboarding was thrown out the window in favor of crappy driving sequences and jumping over helicopters.
As the quality of the series was declining, Electronic Arts made a move that would seal the Pro Skater's fate. Simply called Skate, EA's response was focused on realism. Using the new analog control system was fluid and natural. The smooth animation and sense of weight that your character had made every simple flip, grab, and grind incredibly satisfying. Every street corner of a massive city was a new challenge waiting to be tackled. By comparison, the Tony Hawk series looked dated and ridiculous.
Now it's time to wreck yourself.
This is gonna be rad.
There has still been a Tony Hawk game every year, but the main series has been on hiatus since Skate. All good things do come to an end. EA followed Activision's suit yet again with stupid extreme stunts like jumping down a dam in the sequel, and released a third game the following year. Activision's eye for talent didn't let them down when they scooped up Red Octane and the Guitar Hero property. Guitar Hero is not only a critical and financial success, with the third game being the first single title to earn over $1 billion in sales, but also a cultural phenomenon, appearing in South Park, the 2009 Major League Soccer Championship halftime show, Couples Retreat, if that even counts as culture, and music videos for Mariah Carey, Eminem, and Brad Paisley. How could a game so popular possibly die? A large part of it was oversaturation. 9 Guitar Hero games were released between 2009 and 2010, not to mention also releasing Band Hero and DJ Hero. But strong competition certainly didn't help their chances. When Activision bought Red Octane, they left out Harmonix, the developer for the original game. Electronic Arts seized the opportunity. Rock Band came out with a focus on cooperative gameplay. The guitar and bass parts were familiar to players, as was the microphone, but the drums were new and exciting. Thanks to a deal with MTV, Harmonix had access to more master versions of great songs, rather than the covers that continued to appear in Activision's product. Timeless artists like Aerosmith, Black Sabbath, Boston, The Who, Bon Jovi, Red Hot Chili Peppers, The Rolling Stones, Deep Purple, Blue Oyster Cult, and the fulfilled promise of new DLC every week made Rock Band the definitive rhythm game. If that wasn't enough, customizable characters and a sharp modern look inspired by music videos made Guitar Hero's stiff animations and exaggerated proportions look comical. World of Warcraft needs no introduction. It is the most successful MMORPG of all time. Every game that has come after it has been compared to it in quality, longevity, mechanics, theme, etc., etc. A game this massive could hardly die, and I honestly don't believe it ever will. That doesn't mean that every new MMO isn't trying to gain ground in an otherwise impenetrable market. Because most people are not willing to pay for more than one subscription at a time, a whole new free-to-play business model arose in order to successfully sell an MMO and compete with Activision. EA was too bullheaded to see and adapt to this changing market. They felt that with two strong properties, Star Wars and The Old Republic, that they could take Activision head-on. They had the developer of Knights of the Old Republic, BioWare, who had recently achieved epic popularity with the Mass Effect trilogy, to make the pseudo-sequel. Despite the fully voiced dialogue system and the immense production value, the Old Republic found itself losing money. Why? Maybe they spent too much money on the title and couldn't earn it all back. I think it's because they copied World of Warcraft in every respect. They used the same click-to-attack, hotkey-oriented combat. Classes ended up being the typical tank DPS support trinity. EA even copied the details of the subscription model until they had to go free-to-play to survive. Ultimately, people decided they would rather play WoW than a WoW clone. So, Activision has a history of record-setting AAA titles that they release on an annual basis. Every time, they ran a series into the ground until everyone was sick of it. But sports and rhythm games are niche genres. Shooters are mass market. Call of Duty has had years to perfect their formula. Millions buy the latest titles and stand by the series as their definitive shooter. How could anyone possibly compete with Call of Duty? EA forgot their own tactics. They set up their latest and greatest to go toe-to-toe with Activision's champion. Battlefield is a beloved franchise. Digital Illusions has a strong history. Their latest version of the Frostbite engine is more spectacular than ever before. But rather than making Call of Duty look dated and ridiculous, EA made Battlefield look like Call of Duty. They could have taken advantage of their engine to craft a campaign that boasted large environments with no specific path to the objective, a feature that would be improved with the ability to blast through walls and level buildings. They could have used a campaign level as practice for flying aircraft, a skill that players could then take online. And with a campaign that doesn't constrict the player, there would be more than enough room for co-op, especially in a modern military setting where no one travels alone. Instead, Battlefield 3's campaign is a generic COD clone that feels more like a long QuickTime event than an actual game, which is unfortunate because the first Bad Company game had personality and some semblance of a story. I'm sure that they were betting on Battlefield's trademark multiplayer to be the focus anyway. While the quality of Conquest is arguable, there is no denying that if you set the game to Team Deathmatch, it plays exactly like Call of Duty. And now we see the release of Torchlight 2. It'll be hard to compete with the 7 million sold copies of Diablo 3, but Runic Games is putting on a good show. Torchlight 2 has offline LAN, mod support, classic leveling, a good options menu, a scalable graphics engine, solid feel, and a revolutionary $20 price point. It may not have the marketing budget Activision can pour into every game, but I'm rooting for the underdog on this one. I'm not looking to bring great franchises to their knees. I don't hate WoW or Call of Duty. I have no love for Activision or EA. I don't stop liking something just because it gets popular. I stop liking something when it goes in a bad way. I'm just trying to say that if anyone wants to compete with Activision's juggernaut franchises, they need to make a game that sets itself apart, boast about the features that make your game special, create gameplay that doesn't compete directly by being identical, but competes indirectly by being different in the right ways.